Thank you for calling 1-800-SAD-DESIGN. We are back with a little remote episode today. How you doing, Ty? What's going on?
Not bad. I'm tired. The past
Heard you've been
couple weeks
busy.
have been exhausting. I'm not too sure why, but I've been just waking up feeling really tired, and then some days I start dozing off at work, but that's fine. Um, but yeah, besides being tired, pretty standard. Just really working. I don't really think there is anything that stood out a whole lot these past couple weeks. Um, at least as far as I can remember, nothing's really popping up.
Any
Um,
new things at work? Any projects? You said you've been busy. What's keeping you busy? Just work?
some large orders at work. I just like get there and I'm like, I don't want to do this, and then kind of working on it all day. We ran into like material problems. Like I don't know if we ordered the wrong materials or they sent us the wrong one, but it was wrong, so we had to like quickly find a replacement thing. Um, so yeah, it's kind of like standard stuff, but I don't know. I think I've also just haven't been getting enough sleep.
Yeah.
So like yesterday and today, I think I slept until like maybe 9:30 or 10, and that's pretty late for me. So felt nice
Yeah,
though. Felt nice. I am
I
still
feel
tired though. I think when
that.
I sleep in, I'm even more tired.
I think so too. I do the same thing. This week I had a goal to like get up every day and like go outside on the green belt and ended up like accidentally sleeping until 10 and like every day this week. My alarm would go off at 8 and I don't even remember turning it off and then all of a sudden I look at the clock and it was 10. And I guess it's sometimes what our bodies need, but
Yeah, yeah. There's days when I've
doesn't feel good sometimes.
yeah. I mean, I don't. I don't know. There are days where I woke up this week at like 9:30, and that's normally when I leave for work. And I'm like, God
Hmm.
damn it! So I literally just pack up all my stuff and head out.
And
Yeah.
that's not a fun way to start the day.
No, because normally I make like a pretty good breakfast to like last me the whole day, and then when I don't do that, I'm like, damn, I actually have to get lunch now. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not fun.
No.
But yeah, what about you? How's your past couple weeks been? Anything new?
Mm, not a whole lot. I'm in the works of getting a temporary job. I'll say more on that later, depending on how it goes
Nice.
and everything. I don't want to say anything too soon, but
That's exciting.
it's looking pretty good. Wouldn't be until September, but
Is it design wise?
yes.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, we're gonna knock on wood, and I'll talk about it later. But just finally getting the house in order. I know it's been like 2, 3 months since we moved, and everything is off the floor
Nice.
finally.
I mean, my place is kind of a mess right now.
Yeah,
Just trash and stuff lying around.
and um, yeah, just working at the restaurant, keeping busy, spending a lot of time outside on the river. Got into paddle boarding. It's what I want to be
Nice.
doing all summer. And I do have a new project I'm starting. Had a meeting about it yesterday, and I feel like it's okay to talk about by the time this episode comes out. I'll be into it and should be almost released. But I'm doing an album cover for a song for a local band called Animus Gem, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a really cool piece. Um, yeah,
Nice. Sounds like you've
it
had
goes
a
with our design talk today too.
yeah. Sounds like you had a nice couple weeks.
Yeah, just trying to stay productive.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to. Well, I don't know. I feel yeah. I just don't know what
Are you still in your creative block that you've been talking about?
Mm, kind of, sort of. I think I don't. I mean, I can't really remember what I've said last time, but um, I'm just working on a bunch of different things, and some things is like a lot of them isn't really design related. It's like house projects and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like just like brainstorming it all, like mapping it all out, and then the only reason why I don't really do any of that stuff is just because I either don't have the tools for it or it needs like paid labor, I guess, or whatever. So it's like pouring concrete and stuff like that. Um, and so I'm just like, I don't really know when I'll have the money for that. So I kind of just,
Yeah.
I kind of like right now I'm just fully working it out right now, trying to get everything sorted out so it's potentially ready. And I was like slowly work towards it. Um, but it's not like in full drive yet. Design projects. I think the only thing I've worked on is that poster I made. I think I posted on Friday or
Oh yeah.
whatever. Um, I think that's the only thing I've worked on.
It looked good.
Yeah, it was alright.
It was alright.
It just popped up and I was like, oh, I might as well do it because I haven't made anything. So it probably took like
Here, describe it so
2 hours.
audio
Yeah,
listeners
I
can know
guess
what you're
yeah, because
talking
it
about
is
if they don't follow you
private.
either.
So basically, the I made a poster that's like a parody of the Eras Tour poster with like the gridded photos, and the main like topic of it was how I don't respond to text. And I only thought of this idea because I I know like I have a lot of texts to respond to, but I just look at them but don't reply. And I'm just like I don't know what happened, but lately I've just been in like a mood of I don't like to text anymore. So
I
I'm
get
just
that.
like, yeah. Or
And also, it is true. I'll
yeah.
send you something to be like read on Thursday, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah, I don't yeah, I'm like my boss sends me texts all the time and I'm just like, I'll see you in a couple hours, so I won't really respond. Or my mom texts me, I just don't respond. I don't know. Probably should fix it, but
You should at least have like a priority list. Like, oh, hey, my boss is texting. Maybe I should text back.
well,
Or,
the things like my boss texts me about is like if he's not coming in today. And I'm just like, all right, I don't really I'm like cool. That's kind of like every day.
good for you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you get a paid day off, but I never do. So no. But yeah, I don't know why. I used to be like the person who would always text right away. I think it's just the fact that I'm trying to be on my phone less.
Yeah.
So normally if I just hear the thing go off, I'm like, I don't. Is it important? I don't
I've
know.
been trying to stay off my phone less too, but I won't like go on social media or anything. Like I'll check like reels and stuff that people send me like once a day. But if someone texts me and it's like important or something I need to respond back, I usually will. And screen time has gone down quite a bit.
That's pretty good.
Trying to like just because the majority of the time was spent on social media. I can't believe like he used to spend like hours and hours and hours just scrolling. And sometimes it happens every once in a while, but for the most part, it's kind of nice being away.
Yeah. Especially when it's like nice outside.
Yeah,
Just doing something outside is it's just fun. I mean, you'll always have your phone on you just because it's now like an everyday necessity, but trying to distracting yourself for like I don't know 2 to 4 hours just being outside. It's nice.
yeah,
But
I
yeah.
agree.
Um. So yeah, I don't know. Will I work on it? Probably
Maybe,
not. I don't know.
maybe.
We'll
Hope so.
see. Yeah, we'll see. I know there's
It'll be good.
probably, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I feel like I don't really get a whole lot of texts. And I think that's why I don't
You
really
don't
just
feel
have the
like the
need to
urgent
respond.
need. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Um, but yeah.
I get it. My font of the week was kind of inspired by you too.
Really?
Yeah, we'll get to
Okay.
that. And the
That's
texting.
interesting. That's interesting.
Mhm. All right. Do we want to get into the design talk today?
Sure. Let's do it.
We're going to be talking about album covers, like music album covers, because it is a very, I don't know, big, I want to say genre of design. Like,
Yeah, I mean that's all
it's
some
a,
people design.
yeah,
I don't know if I would ever really get into it, but it takes some of them are really cool and interesting.
I
Like
think
some
so.
people put a crazy amount of work into it and then some it's just a photo.
Yeah, it's all about the symbolism and like the complementing the music.
Mhm.
And that's something that I was working on earlier today with the one I'm doing for the client, and just like thinking of all the symbolism that's going to go behind it. Like it's going to be presented very simply, I think, but I think like just all the little details will have a deeper meaning to the song.
Mhm.
So something I'll say about it right now is barbed wire is a very visual representation of like the
The
song itself.
style?
Yeah, it's not doesn't talk about barbed wire being trapped necessarily, but just like
It's
that
like a good
twisted visual,
visual,
yeah, is what is coming through so
the
far in
like
it.
rigid edge and all that
Sharp,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean when it
So
comes
there's a
to
lot to think about really with album covers, and it's how you are presenting,
mhm.
your work to an audience.
Yeah. I don't really like think or look about the album covers a whole lot, but there are a few that kind of like stand out and I like tend to remember. But even when
Mm.
I go to like the record store, I don't really know a whole lot of the artists, but I just look at their the covers and whatever
Yeah,
one looks nice, I kind of take a gander at and then I'm like, "Oh,
it's like judging a book by its cover. That's why they're important.
I mean, I definitely do that.
Yeah,
I for me it's visuals. It was
I
funny
think it's.
though.
Oh, go
My
ahead.
my brother and friends were talking last night and was talking about this like Mediterranean Chipotle spot called Kava. I think it's like in bigger cities like East and West Coast. But he was like, I feel like we've been there. It's like, I don't know. The branding doesn't look familiar to me. I was like, I
That's how
feel
you
like I
know.
would remember this place if I went there because it looks nice. So I feel like now I'm definitely like I don't judge it all by the way it looks, but if
That's how
it's like
you,
well thought out,
especially,
it stands out.
yeah, if you're a visual like person, then I don't know, that's how you're gonna remember it.
Yeah.
That's how it made an impact for you was through the visuals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the same with any kind of design
Yeah.
and album covers. And I think visuals for music, like the album covers themselves, can reflect so much from like the mood, the genre, or kind of like themes that are playing in the album.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think of off the top of my head what Billie Eilish's new "Hit Me Hard and Soft," and that's just one image of her like floating in water, but I think that that stillness and that like quiet of being underwater is very reflective of like her overall sound.
Mm.
And throughout that album. And so there's, you know, all those little connections that kind of have to be made. And it's striking as well, too, visually, because it's like the colors are so contrasted, too, that it like catches an eye. And it's like anything design wise, you have to, you know, catch the eye of your audience, make it interesting to them so they'll take a listen.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Is that a door on the top?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It is crazy though that like some of these, like I just searched up, uh, like design behind album covers, and
Hmm.
even from like the 70s and 80s, some of them are pretty like interesting and iconic. You know,
Yeah.
like forget it. Is it who's the one that has that prism one?
Pink Floyd.
Pink Floyd. That one's like iconic.
Is it the
Um,
dark side of the moon with the like the rainbow or like the light reflecting through the
mm-hmm.
yeah.
I feel like the Queen one, where they're like the black background and all their faces are lit up and they're like staggered.
Yeah, and they're
That
very
one's
dark
iconic.
shadows like underneath their faces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they kind of that one is.
Same
I
thing with
looked
like the
up
Beatles.
yeah, I pulled the Beatles Abbey Road through my research today, and the Abbey Road one was one of the first album covers that didn't have um, the album title or the band name. It was just the image.
Hmm.
And this article was saying that they were doing that because they had the confidence and the legacy to, you know, to do that. To they're
Yeah.
easily recognizable. They're the Beatles, and that album cover became one of the most replicated, parodied images ever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do find it interesting though, because like I listen to the Beatles every once in a while. Like I have a good amount of their songs on a playlist. But if I were to like have a assortment of photos of people and they were all in it, I don't think I could point out who they were. Like
Yeah,
I've never like taken the time to be like, what do they actually look like and search a photo of them. So I mean, yeah.
yeah. The
Um.
Beatles though were huge,
Hmm. I did. Yeah. I mean, I don't
and it's
really
just
know
them
how it
crossing the
was.
street.
Yeah. But I mean, it is very like well composed, I guess, where they're all in the stride, and it's like they do line up with the black part of the crosswalk, and you
Yeah.
just have like that one line going straight down to the I don't know focal point or whatever.
Hmm.
So it is a well thought out one. But yeah, there's some like some artists I listened to today. One of them, she's like really pretty small, but she did like a 4 album collection thing, and all it was a paper texture and like a different gradient. And it was so simple. There wasn't any text on it, and it looks nice as well.
Yeah.
And the
Um,
colors were just based on like the moods of the album.
yeah. Very subtle, but you know, still holds meaning. I was talking
Mm-hmm.
to you earlier, right before we started recording, about the Nirvana album, Nevermind, and
Mm-hmm.
how there apparently was a very big, like, cultural meaning behind that cover. It's the one with the baby in the swimming pool, like, chasing the dollar bill. And apparently it was a commentary on capitalism, innocence, and desire. So, another one of those very symbolic, um, album covers that's trying to, either commentary on the themes within the music or just kind of within, life in general as well.
That's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't. I mean, when I look at album covers, I don't really try and dissect it and understand the meanings behind it. And honestly, I think even if I were to look at it now, I would not connect all that together.
Yeah, I wouldn't have either, but looking more into the Nirvana album too, apparently it goes along with the anti-mainstream message that grunge had.
Hmm.
So it was a traditional statement, I guess. What else? Um, I have so many pulled up. I'm trying to figure out which.
I mean, are there any like album covers that stuck out to you for a certain reason? Because I mean, for me, it doesn't really like depend on if it's a good album or song.
hmm
Like it don't, that doesn't really define it. But I mean, after you pick the song, you do look at it, and some of them are pretty nice.
Yeah, I feel like images and like facial expressions play a lot, like a
Hmm.
big role.
Yeah, normally that's pretty huge if it's just like a single singer, artist, or whatever. To just have like the picture of them.
hmm But
But
I think
yeah.
of the one you brought up earlier, the Queen. What is it, Queen 2 or whatever? I think it was referenced, referencing or inspired by their Bohemian Rhapsody music video.
Oh.
Um, because I think in the video there's a scene like that where like each of them kind of pop up on the screen with like that very contrasty shadow and their face just kind of like floating as they look up and sing. But
Hmm.
you get so much, I think, let me pull it up, from their facial expressions. It's very like mysterious, but also like I don't know, they feel like royalty too, like they're holding the power and just how they're, looking at presenting themselves, that confidence. And I think that's something that their music has always kind of conveyed as well, is that power.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of like reminds me of the one little clip they have from when they're doing the. I think it was "We Will Rock You" and everyone's doing the like stomp and clapping,
hmm
and it's just like everyone's doing it, and they weren't even like playing any instruments or anything, and it
Yeah,
like fills the whole arena.
yeah. Their music and, their personality and I don't know, just their overall presentation of themselves. Very powerful, I would say. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing you could also go on and on about is that album covers are a direct visual representation of, the band, the artist, the music. And I feel like some musicians like keep a very close, like consistent, branding, I would say, across all their albums, but I feel like there's also a lot of contrast between them too. It just depends on the artist. Like, do you remain consistent in how you're presented and looked, or are you trying to like identify each of your works as something entirely different from your previous ones?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like a huge psychological connection when it comes to these things.
Yeah.
Just connecting it to the actual songs itself and I don't know if it's so much trying to connect to the listeners, but it's probably more to just the songs itself and then the artist.
Yeah. And also, I think a big thing too is that, you know, catching of the eye,
Mm-hmm.
standing
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, like the album cover music covers for the songs from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That little art thing they have of the Spider-Man logo with like the glitch look and the half tones from like the comic book look is
Hmm.
very nice. Like I like that a lot. And then even just the simple one from the first movie of just the like eyes from Miles Morales, and you can see like the shaping and lighting of the face a little bit. That is also just it's more simple, but it is still nice and it's vibrant.
Yeah.
So
It's very much an extension and like connection between, like you were saying, the movie and, its original form in the comic books, which is kind of cool.
yeah, and then there's other like covers like there's a song called "We Are Young." I don't know why, but ever since I first listened to it and saw like the thing on like the Mac, it always stood out to me. I think it's just because it's so simple. It's just I think the album itself is called Some Nights, and it's like the text on top and then a picture on the bottom. I don't really know what the picture's trying to
Um,
show, but I think it's just the color grading and the simplicity and the white space is just it stood out.
when
I
did this
also think
one
I
come
just like
out?
that look.
Yeah, it looks very you.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing is how, what is it, design trends kind of, influence the artwork.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is kind of
And
true. I
like
feel
some of
like.
them age well and still remain iconic. Like I think like we were saying, the Beatles, Abbey Street,
Mm-hmm.
and like the Queen cover.
Yeah, I mean,
Or
I
when
feel
I think,
like I
okay.
don't think that any of these covers can really get outdated. I mean, it can show their like when they were made, but not so
Hmm.
much like where it gets to a point where the visual look of it is no longer appealing, you
Yeah,
know?
that is true. I
Like
agree with that.
the song Payphone, one of their covers is like a mosh of illustrations and it gives you like an early 2000 look, like skater look or something, and you can tell that's like early 2000s, although there are people who do still do work similar to that,
Hmm.
but you don't really see that a whole lot, at least on the music I listen to. You don't see that a whole lot anymore in the covers.
Yeah.
I feel like nowadays everyone's kind of so focused on growing, especially if they're smaller. Like they're kind of focused on growing, so they show their face and they don't want to make it too busy. Because
Yeah.
this one is crazy busy.
I feel like, yeah, simpler is the better too for album covers. Just personal opinion, unless it's like it goes with the music, I guess. But you're trying to translate sound into imagery, but also not take away from the music, which is the star. So I don't know. It's just this weird balance that you gotta find.
Yeah,
It depends
it's
on
just
each one.
it's more of just I think finding what fits yourself as the artist and then just working off that.
Hmm.
Because some
I
of them
feel
can
like,
just be totally abstract and have like
oh
no
yeah,
meaning behind it.
yeah, no meaning. No. Why would it just be abstract? There has to be a
Well,
reason why
there's
it's
yeah,
abstract too.
yeah. There's
What
this
are they
one.
trying to communicate by being abstract? I don't know.
Yeah, there's this like one. I don't know. It's two people group or something. I don't know. They're called Emotional Oranges,
I love that
and
name.
yeah, and their like first album was just orange peel, a couple water drips on it, and then like the sticker that says Emotional Oranges.
Hmm.
And then they had another album that's more illustrated, but the second one was like two oranges. And so yeah, I don't know. The meaning? No idea. I mean, it does say
More
volume
literal?
2. It says volume 2 behind the one with the two oranges, so I guess that makes sense. And like one of them's called Juice Box, so it's probably just like all their friends. Um but yeah, their stuff is like pretty simple, but like obviously they're about oranges and it's nice.
That's really funny actually.
Yeah, and they have this new one. I haven't listened to it, but
Gotta have a cool name like that. That makes you stand out more than the visual. Emotional oranges.
yeah, I mean, Emotional Oranges is just like a name you wouldn't hear, you know, or it's like
Yeah.
not you wouldn't use those two words together in like an average sentence. So yeah,
What was it? I think Glass Animals. They literally just like picked random words out of a hat to decide their band name.
hmm, that's interesting. One other album cover I like is the Gemini album from Macklemore. I don't even know when that came out, but I don't know why. I just like the look of it. And the text, the Gemini text, whatever typeface that is, I like
Mm.
that as well.
Yeah, that one's nice.
But yeah, it has like a vintage color grading to it, where it's kind of like super vibrant, saturated, something like that. Um, what's another? I mean, for me, I'm just honestly talking about the ones that I like.
Yeah, my music taste is all over the place and they're all so different.
Yeah.
Oh, what is it? What is it? Once give me a second.
Oh, I
When
also like the Midnight cover. I like it's just so simple, and the gradient in the text.
hmm
I think it's also Helvetica.
that one is nice. The ones that always get me, well, I actually am a huge Smash Mouth fan, okay? And I
Yeah.
love how neon and chaotic and weird that their album covers are. Every single one of them.
Do they still make music?
I think the lead singer died 2 years ago now,
Oh, okay.
but I feel like they did come out with an album not too long ago.
All I know is All Star.
Yeah,
That has 1 billion plus plays. Holy smokes!
yeah.
And isn't that like monthly numbers or something?
I think that's all time listens
Oh, okay.
on just Spotify too.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure YouTube is even more.
Yeah.
Dang. I wonder how much money they made from just like listeners listening to that song, especially when Shrek was growing like a couple years ago.
Yeah. They released a single in 20 this year, so I feel like they must have gotten a new singer. I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah,
Let's Google it real quick.
I think the only song I've listened from them was All Star.
I think my favorite is Walking on the Sun. You should listen to it later.
I found the acoustic version. Trying to find the real one. Do a quick little listen.
Yeah, the lead singer of Smash Mouth died in 23. Did they replace him?
Walking on the sun.
Quickly scanning the Wikipedia.
Just from the start, the like tone of it, very. It does kind of match the cover, but it reminds me of the song from Phineas and Ferb. Oh God, what is it called? It's like when Ferb gets a spaceship or something. I have it. I think I have it somewhere. My Ride from Outer Space. That's what it kind of reminds me of, and maybe they were trying to make it similar to that. But yeah,
Damn, okay, Smash Mouth has had a bunch of different people come and go out of their band. So, like,
hmm.
everyone that's playing in Smash Mouth now was not the original.
Okay, but they like kind of make it to sound similar.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, maybe the only person that's been there the whole time is their keyboard guy.
Interesting. Hmm.
But yeah, where is it? The lead singer that was there since the beginning, what's his name? Steve Harwell, literally performed here in Boise, Idaho, and died the next day in his home in Boise.
Damn, that's insane.
I remember hearing about that because, like, I wanted to go see them because they were at the Idaho Fair, I think. And I was like, I
Oh,
need to go, but I had to work, so I couldn't go. And then saw that the next day he had died, and I was like, what do you mean?
that's crazy.
Could have seen him for his last performance ever.
Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah. Well, that's kind of interesting that they got them to play at the fair here. You know,
Yeah.
like I was so shocked when I was told that Young Gravy was performing last year, and I was
They're
like,
getting so many big
"How?
ones.
How does? How do they get him to come out to Idaho? You know, like out of all
Idaho's
places."
music scene has just gotten kind of crazy. Like
Yeah, I
Treefort?
think I think with just Treefort,
What?
it's been growing, and then now all this Post Malone stuff. Like, come on, man. Everyone's freaking complaining about like the Californians moving out here, but they're not complaining about Post Malone buying a house out here. The hell? My
Yeah, that's
gosh.
crazy.
Yeah, I was so
Uh,
shocked with, and I didn't even know like. I mean, I assumed Young Gray was still making music, but I didn't. I have only listened to one of his songs, and that was way back in high school.
I never really listened to him. I know who he is though, but
It's like a very particular
yeah, yeah, it
type
is.
of type of music creation, you know.
I think
Yeah.
something I was gonna say earlier too, before we fell down our rabbit hole, was I think simpler music covers can be more successful too, especially if you have to make like a whole cohesive like rollout. So like
Mm-hmm.
having to adapt, the cover art, the singles, the merch, tour design, like
Yeah.
CDs, vinyls, like how does it adapt to different formats? And
Yeah, that's
usually if
also
it's
true.
simpler, it's easier to scale in different ways. I don't know.
Yeah. Never thought of that though.
Yeah.
But that's true because almost
Oh,
everyone's got to have, they've got to have merch.
yeah. And like we were talking about before we started, I pulled out Olivia Rodrigo's Sour vinyl, and like you open it and it's like this is whole experience too. It's like a scrapbook.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
those are
very nice.
other considerations too. And this one's nice too because it very much goes with the the stickers all over her face and
Mm-hmm. It also
Yeah.
just kind of, I mean, I don't really know when that one came out, but I
I want to
feel
say
like
21.
21. I feel like that was kind of matching kind of her like personality style then. I
Yeah,
feel
I
like
think so
now it's a
too.
little more professional, I guess. Like
Yeah,
she's treating it more professional based on what I've seen. So, yeah.
I think that one too is, I think, a very much, like you said, matches her personality, but I feel like it's also was design trend of, like we talked about a couple episodes ago with the, the handmade or textured, like physical elements being brought into design just because everything's so digitized. It kind of
Mm-hmm.
gives that nostalgic, like hands-on feeling, which I think was trending and still kind of trending, but I think that might have played a role as well, along with the personality thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I mean, I know nothing about this, but when it comes to like the artists kind of like coming up with their whole look of the album, how much actually kind of like gets used in translation with the designer, you know?
Yeah,
Like how much is it from the designer, like the designer's ideas and trying to like convince the artist on what they should do, or like how the designer interprets like their personality and feeling from all the music into the actual design of the covers and
yeah,
cases and whatnot, you know? Because,
very big conversation.
yeah, I feel like that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, that's just, I feel like that's also just like a regular designer thing trying to understand
Yeah,
the client and meaning behind everything. So I
I
feel
think
like
it's
that's kind of
important
standard.
as a designer to ask the music artist, like, how do you see it visualized?
Mm-hmm.
And then this is how I see it. And maybe there's some crossover or ways to adapt them kind of together. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what happened with my meeting yesterday about the album cover I'm going to be working on.
Mm-hmm.
It was
It
like,
was
I
just,
liked that you brought this up. Here's my idea. We could tie these two together, and that would be very powerful representation.
yeah. I feel like that's just how it goes.
Yeah. And I'm sure some artists are easier to work with than others, but
Yeah, I'm sure about that too.
yeah.
You never know what people like want. You know, they may agree with one idea and then after they actually see it, they're like, "Oh, I'm not really liking that a whole lot."
Yeah.
And then they make you do, I don't know, 5 more versions of it. Who knows?
Yeah. All right. Do you want to move on to font of the week?
Sure. We can do that.
So, last episode, we talked about the history of 8-bit design and pixel art. So, we chose Puffin Arcade as our font of the week because it's very pixely, very
Yeah.
8-bit, very on theme, a little hard to work with.
Mm-hmm. I'm now looking at mine, and I only used it once. But, yeah. My poster is incomplete. I'll say that right now. I thought I would have had it done, but it took way too long just to get one thing right. So yeah, I'll be working on it once we wrap up here, so I can finish it. Um, but yeah, how to explain?
How to explain? It's
I
very visually
basically,
cool.
yeah, I found something pretty similar on Pinterest when I was just looking at like how people design with like pixel art and all that. And since I was running out of time, I just kind of, just to fill these little sections, I took elements from it just because I was like, I'm running out of time. I think I'll probably change a good amount of it though. Like on the second column, the middle column with like those vertical lines, that's just directly taken from the thing that I found, but I'm gonna change that with something else. Mainly because I'm not liking it.
Hmm.
I also should say that the main idea around this was space. Mainly because when I think of like pixels and pixel art, I kind of think of like Pac-Man, Galaga, all the arcade games.
Hmm.
And so I just thought of Galaga. I don't know why, but whenever I think of it, like arcade games, that's like the first one. Even though that's not like my favorite one. Um, so I was kind of going off of a space theme. The main pixel artwork took way too long,
Yeah,
but
I can't believe you did that yourself.
I was like, I want to try. I've always wanted to like mess with it and see how it goes, and took a bit. I
You're
say
like,
just
never again.
no, I'll do it again, but I'll obviously give myself more time. But I
Yeah,
think just that took like an hour to 2 hours of just messing with it.
yeah, that's
It was also my first time, so it wasn't smooth at all. But it came out pretty nicely. I don't. I If I were to do it again, I don't know how I would change it, but I know it's not like the look I was totally trying to achieve. Um, but yeah, so it was just space themed. Um, Text was around like losing signal, I guess. So I kind of just based it off of that.
yeah.
Um, and
I like
then
the very small font at the very bottom.
yeah, kind
Like
of just
I
wanted
had to
to.
zoom in.
I forgot what I even wrote. I was doing
You
it all
wrote,
so
every
fast.
star reminds me of the parts of you I'm still trying to hold on to. Going with your
Oh,
space theme.
I don't remember that, but
You're like, I don't remember
maybe I'll
doing
change
nothing.
that. Because I don't remember. But yeah, I'll probably change that. I also need to find a place to use Puffin Arcade more because I've only used it once and it says that, and it's an Echoes Beyond Reach. And I don't
Mm.
remember which option it was for these
I think you
horizontal
spelled
lines.
echoes wrong too.
I did?
And yeah, I think it's Echoes.
No way. I thought it was. I'm gonna just say Echo plural. Oh, it. Oh, the OES is more commonly used, I guess. Oh, I
Oh, but
didn't
you
know that.
can use it with just the S.
Yeah, I've always spelled it just
I've always spelled it
CHOS.
ES. That's confusing. Why is there two
Interesting.
different
Well, it's
spellings for
like how people
echoes?
spell gray. Is it
Yeah,
GREY or AY, you know? Or like people in like
yeah.
UK and Australia spell color with the OUR.
Well, we learned something new today.
Yeah. I think I'll keep it like this just 'cause
Disregard.
that's how I spell it. Um, but yeah, I picked the horizontal one because it's kind of like fading, like faded
Hmm.
out. So I felt like that kind of matches it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, this is where it's at now. It's definitely going to change. And I don't know how it's going to change, but in the actual video, well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll show this one. And then at this point right now is when I'll switch to the updated one. I think I'll do that. I don't know.
Show both before and after.
Yeah, kind of just see how it changes from like the
Adapted.
yeah. And then
I
I
mean,
also
we're
wanted
allowed
to
to.
do the duotone
Yeah.
color stuff.
I think it was last week's Font of the Week. I was like, I should have done this instead, and I did change it in the recap. Like, it's
Oh,
a
you
different
did?
version than the one
I
we looked at
actually
when we recorded.
I don't even know which one I used for the video for both of ours because I spelled decibels wrong.
Oh,
And then
well,
you said you were
there
going to
might
change
be
something.
two versions out there floating. I mean, they're not
Yeah.
like different. I was just talking about how I wanted to include the lyrics of the song instead of like this random blurb that ChatGPT came up with.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I'll update it. It's whatever.
Yeah. I've been trying to use ChatGPT less,
Me too.
but for quick things like this where I'm like running out of time, I'm like,
Yeah, and it's
give me
like I
something.
want some body copy on this poster right here, but I don't want to take the time to actually type it myself. So,
Yeah. For me, it's mainly just like a lot of these shorter sentences. Just
yeah.
like, here's what I'm thinking, refine it. And then, yeah. Mainly because I know like my grammar is pretty dang. Although these aren't really huge on grammar, but
No.
sometimes they are.
But yeah, I like
Um,
your font of the week. I can't wait to see what it looks like finished.
in a
I
couple
think it looks
hours.
pretty good like it is now, but I like
Thanks.
your color
Yeah.
palette too.
Yeah, I
And
wanted to
good
go
first
with
attempt at pixel art.
mm-hmm. Well, I mean it's actually pretty easy. Like
Yeah,
all you have to do is take whatever you want to whatever.
yeah.
You like rasterize it and then you do a mosaic something. And then you can pick literally how many pixels wide and tall. It's super
Okay,
simple. And then it automatically changes each pixel to a vectored square. So that is also easier. So it's like super easy to edit. Um, but yeah, even looking at it now, there are some things I need to clean up in these little lines, curved
yeah,
lines. Um, but yeah, first attempt, not bad.
not
I
bad.
was gonna do hot dog themed. I will say that. Original idea was to do like a
Of
Chicago
course
dog
it
and a
was.
pixel, and I was gonna do something about that. And then I
I'm
was
glad you
like,
tried something different
yeah, I always got to
outside the
step out of
comfort
my
zone.
comfort zone a little
Yeah,
bit.
gotta
I
try
also
to.
don't want too many hot dog files, you know?
I don't want too many hot dogs there.
Although I will probably create it one day, eventually. It's inevitable. What can I say? But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my fun of the week. How was yours?
Mine's interesting this week. There's lots of different inspirations and things going on. I have two different
Uh-huh.
versions too. I have an orange version and a blue version because I couldn't decided which I liked more. I think I like the blue a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in the background, it's a pixelated image of like a flame, some fire, and I had the while I was working with this typeface, Puffin Arcade. It's giving 80s, and so I had the song "We Didn't Start the Fire" stuck in my head. But I
Mm.
didn't want to say that directly, so I said we started the fire.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I had on the page first. And then it was yesterday when I made this and I texted you, "Are we recording today?" And you didn't answer all day. So I was just like messing on the side. It says, "Hi, hello, are you online? Is there something I could be doing? Or am I simply talking to the abyss?" And it's just, I feel very like on the side. It's just very like early internet online chat feeling.
Mm-hmm. Chat
And all
rooms and
chat
all that.
room, yeah. Yeah, it
Nice.
doesn't necessarily all go together, but I used Puffin Arcade at the top with the we started the fire, and then for the date at the bottom, and then I paired it with I can't remember what this one's called, something Kofo Pixel.
Is
I
that one
think
also a pixelated font?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's Kofo Sans Pixel.
Nice. Oh yeah, I can see it once I zoom in.
Yeah, it's another pixelated font that I like. It was a little bit finer, which
Mm-hmm.
I thought contrasted against the thick roundness of
Yeah. I was thinking
Puffin.
about doing that too, but I kind of wanted like a contrast of the sharp edges of the each individual pixels with the like smooth edges of my other typeface that I used.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. But
But yeah,
nice.
mine was very random. Like, yeah. Bunch of different inspirations, just putting things on the page.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah. I don't
But
know about
yeah,
the about well,
yeah. There's two different versions. There's like
part of
one
me
that's
does like
orange
I like the orange one.
with
Mainly
the
because it's more
flame.
fire.
The flame's orange, gives fire. But then I accidentally put this mask on that was like the reverse, and it turned to blue. And I was like, oh, I actually really like that.
Yeah, the orange one is just very just stands out a lot,
hmm
and then the blue one is a little more like
It's cool.
mellow and
Yeah.
cool and subtle. But I think I like the orange one.
And I think I used three different versions of Puffin.
You did?
Yeah, the top one is two on top of each other, two different ones on top of
Oh,
each other.
okay. Oh yeah,
So we
yeah,
started
yeah.
the fire. It was like the bold drop shadow one and the light outline
hmm
on top of it.
Yeah, I was gonna use the one with the shadow, but I was like, I didn't like the way how it overlaps. Like, it goes technically like a right to left overlap, and I wanted the
hmm
left to right. And I was like, I didn't want to like mess with the order and all that. So, but yeah, I really do like the one on the bottom left. I just like the way that looks.
I like that one a lot. I had to use that one somehow.
I don't know why, but I feel like you could see it on like a pizza box.
A pizza box.
I don't know, like a Five Nights at Freddy's pizza box.
Yeah, I can see that actually.
But nice. Did you do anything to the image to get it pixelated, or you just kind of like zoomed in?
I found a generator online that kind of pixeled it up for me because it was a very clean image, and I tried zooming in and
Actually,
stuff, but it still was like.
yeah, I can see.
And
I
I
can
didn't
see like that with the embers on the right.
Yeah, I didn't do a ton, like, because there was like a scale. You could make it super pixelated
Mm-hmm.
or like kind of clean. And it was a little more like in the middle on the cleaner side.
I think it's good that it's smaller because then it doesn't get too distracting with at least the text on the top.
Yeah, I didn't want it competing with the pixelated text and like the image, so I wanted them to be kind of similar so they were, working together. But I didn't
Mm-hmm.
want just like a flat image either because I felt like that, like it didn't go. There was too much
Yeah,
contrast there.
I don't know why I really like the like individual 1 or 2 pixel embers, and then
hmm
I also like this little like flame drop thing on the right, like right next to the black box where it says status inactive. I
hmm
like the way it looks. I don't know. I think I just like the way pixel art looks.
Yeah, it is cool.
It's very cool.
I didn't know what I was gonna do with that Puffin Arcade at first. I think that's why it ended up being kind of so random and like the content and subject matter.
Mm,
But I think it looks cool overall.
yeah,
Doesn't matter if it goes together.
it's an experiment. That's all it really is. Honestly, now thinking about it though, I I probably will make it, but I literally just thought, what if you just do a poster with like a little pixel art thing in the center and then text on the bottom?
That's it.
That's it. It's simple. It's like those art museums where it's like a banana and you're
hmm
like, this is art. It's like, no, that ain't, man.
Yeah,
The
a blank
banana's doing
canvas.
more of the art than you. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, very nice though.
thank you. For the next font of the week, we chose a black letter font
Yes.
because we haven't done one of those yet. Called Darka. It's giving vampire. I like it. Maybe I'll try to make an
This one will
album
be.
cover for next week so we're staying on theme. I like
Mm,
that we've been kind of doing that the last couple episodes.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. I
A
really do
vampire
like
album
making.
cover with Darka.
I like making posters a lot, but I think it is good to kind of like change it up a bit.
Yeah, because all we've been doing is posters.
Yeah. Which honestly, for me, I don't really mind, but
I
it
don't
would
either, but
be interesting on how to use
try
this
something a
somewhere
little different.
else. Yeah. Yeah, one of the examples in here is a wax stamp, and that's actually really cool.
Yeah,
I like that. So they got postcards, and then even like the body text.
I like how
That's pretty
the like
cool.
lowercase are a little I don't know how do you describe it, simpler, or just like the capitals are just very bold. They're the statement makers, and then
I
the
think
the
that's just
commas.
how black letters are, though, right? Because it's like
Sometimes,
this was made by hand back then, you know. So like the little stuff, you don't want to get too crazy. But then like capital letters, it's like we're gonna go ham on these. Because like each letter form is they're all pretty different. You know, they have some similarities, but some of them are like super complex and some aren't. Like in the second window, the capital K is crazy, and then the B is
yeah.
like,
J is also crazy. I'm just sitting here typing in the sample box.
oh yeah, J kind of looks like a B a little bit, or
A
three.
little bit.
Ooh, what do the numbers look like? Numbers are old style. I do like that though.
Me too.
Some people don't. Well, not some, but
Oh,
like
M's wild.
non-designers.
W's wild. I like the D. The cup on the
Ooh,
D is very nice.
W looks interesting.
Maybe the Z is cool.
Oh yeah, Y is interesting as well. Ooh, A is interesting too.
The O is nice.
Yeah, I like that. It's like yin and yang. Um,
R is nice.
but yeah, I mean, well, I don't know if I'll do an album cover. Maybe I will,
We'll see.
just so I don't have to think of something. What other thing? Maybe I'll do a postcard, but that's kind of like a mini poster. I don't know. I'll think of something. Do it, yeah. So it looks like fun though.
Yeah, I think this one's really cool.
Okay. So that's the phone of the week. And then we have we have our Patreon and our Discord. Discord, you can hop in for vent line, chatting, feedback, all the good stuff. Um, Font of the weeks as well.
We need to put some fun of the weeks in there.
Yeah, every time we talk about this, it's always like we remember. But maybe we'll
Oh
just do a
yeah.
thing where it's like every three send something in or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, doesn't have to be too strict. Patreon stuff. We have our new bonus episode out. Our little poster panic series. When's our next one? I don't know. We'll probably
I don't
plan it
know.
for
Yeah.
soon, I think. And then we still have our sticker pack 1 available. So if you want to become a member, you can kind of like fill out the form and we'll send you a pack. And then, yeah, we have our Instagram recaps that will be posted the same time the episode gets posted. So if you don't want to listen or watch the whole thing, you can kind of see what we talk about, our fun of the weeks, and what our next fun is for next week. So yeah. Is there anything else?
I don't think so. I think it was
Yeah.
a good episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Just chatting about music and all that.
We like our music. We do.
Yeah. I listen to music like every day.
I
every
know, yeah.
second. So,
You literally had the most Spotify minutes that I have ever seen anyone have last year, Ty.
well, it's the most anyone could have. Oh, you mean like in total?
In total, yeah.
Oh, I don't even know what that number is.
Everyone's like, I got 29,000, and Ty's over here with like, I'm at 170,000 minutes.
I think it was more than that. I don't
I
really
think so. I can't
know.
remember what it was, but it was a lot. I was like, oh my God.
I don't know how. It was 260,000.
Oh my God.
But that's just because it's literally like on
All the
in the
time.
background all the time, like
I
at
feel
work,
like
at
I have
home.
mine on all the time, and I only got, I think, 80,000.
Yeah, but that must not be all the time then, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Because
It was
like I'm listening it.
260.
Yeah, like I listen to like. I think another thing is like I listen to music at night. So like at
Oh,
night
yeah, I
I
know.
listen to like softer, smoother music, and then pretty much wake up, get dressed, switch the music from my bedroom to my kitchen, and then leave, and then it gets switched from my kitchen to my phone in my car, and then from my phone in my car to my phone at work. So it's almost like 24/7.
Yeah, it
So
truly is.
yeah,
And I
it
can't
fuels me
sleep
throughout
with
the
noise,
day.
so
Yeah, yeah. I only sleep without music on if it's like I'm exhausted and I get home, take my shoes off, and hop in bed and pass out.
yeah.
And those are pretty rare, I'd say. But yeah, music's important. I'll say that for sure.
Yeah.
I do hate it though when I like run out of songs, and I'm like, what do I listen to now? And then I just find podcasts and whatnot. So, so yeah.
Yeah, I get it. It's a lot
Alrighty
though.
then. Well, thank you for tuning into 1-800 Sad Design. Until next time, stay designing or keep designing, stay inspired, and dial into design. Bye.
Bye.